Hey, yeah. Well, I forgot to close the curtain, folks. Sorry about that. PJNet.TV. It is 9:30 on the East Coast, and we're running our bumper, and it's time for Del Didway to come our way. We're recording, we're streaming, we're ready to switch to Studio 36 Alpha, starting now. Okay. Good evening. Welcome back. This is PJNet.TV. I'm Coach Prasick, and we had a great talk from Dr. Bill Nichols in the last segment, although we experienced some technical problems. Let's hope that those are cleared up because Del Didway is here on the first and third Wednesday of each month, all the way from I would say, the great and cold state of Ohio. Del, are y'all having a tough time up there?
Now we're used to it. We're not like Southern people. We can take it.
Okay. It got so cold last night, Del, we had to close the windows in the house. That was really bad.
It's tough.
And
We've got about we had about 6 inches yesterday. It's melted off a little bit. We got about 5 inches on the snow on the ground now, and it's heavy wet snow. So it's easier to shovel.
I really envy your life in the press box, and I wonder now: are those heated and all that?
Yeah, we're not exposed to the outside at all. It's all climate controlled, so it's nice.
It's funny because the cold weather that's come up. I've watched several documentaries on the Ice Bowl. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The Packers.
Yeah, the coldest game in NFL history.
Yeah. Packers Cowboys, yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you a story about that. Meredith was the quarterback, and they had those jackets they'd wear on the sideline. Well, one of the Green Bay guys that was on the sideline, a press guy, stole Don Meredith's jacket. He later opened a sports bar, and on display in that sports bar is that jacket. Well, Don Meredith's son did a documentary, so he shows up at the sports bar. And the guy's telling the story about the jacket. But your Bengals won.
Yeah, they got a legitimate. They're 2 wins away from the Super Bowl, if you can fathom that. So they did win the division. They won the wild card playoff game. They go into Nashville. Obviously the underdogs there, the 4 seed against the number 1 seed. But they play them for a reason. So there are things called upsets that do take place, and you never know what'll happen.
Well, I do envy you, Del. We've talked.
You're the only
one. We've talked about so many things over the weeks and months and years that have been part of PJNet, but I've always admired your style. In other words, the way that you take stories from athletes and use them as you use your books as a platform for them to proclaim a God-inspired Christian message. But your newest book, Sports Shorts, it's kind of like that, but in some ways it's very different.
Yeah, it is. I'm taking a lot of the same interviews I did for Dugout Devotions, First Down Devotions, those 4 volumes, and taking a lot of the same interviews, but applying them to a different audience, to a younger audience, to younger teens, junior high age kids. Maybe even younger, maybe 4th, 5th, 6th grade. That's what we're shooting at. And I had to, reduce the word count in each chapter pretty dramatically. So I had to learn how to write for children. I mean, I can talk to kids, at that level, but writing it was, I won't say a challenge. It was an adjustment, and so I had to, I don't know too many big words, but I had to take the few big words I knew and cut them down to talking to a child, talking to a young teen, and I had to get some consultation from Michelle because she's written a few children's books. So she kind of took a few of my chapters and said, this is what I would suggest you say. Instead of saying it this way, say it this way, and kind of got the hang of it. And so we went from like 1,000 words a chapter to like 450 words a chapter, and made them into 52 chapters. So obviously one a week. and kind of the same format, but um, with again with some minor tweaks to it. We did a little a challenge, a call to action, and like a prayer. So we had the what's called I can't even remember it now, but the big moment, the big play, and the
Hmm.
coach's corner. So that's what we take that lesson of that conversation I had with the athlete, apply it, and then present the reader with that moment that they may face like that. That's similar. The big play, how they what they could do, and then the coach's corner is a little bit of my advice. So
Right.
yeah.
Now, depicted is I see the baseball player and I see the phrase all star believers. So this is all baseball.
No, it's not. Sports Shorts is 52 stories. It's my dugout and first down basically
Hmm.
combined. So it's football and baseball.
Good.
So, but that was the cover that they came up with. So that's fine with me. It was tough to blend in both.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but it kind of gives the illusion that it's all about baseball, but it's not. So um, it's kind of a good tease though.
I think so. This is coming out, I believe, March 22nd.
March 22nd is the release date, and so we're doing a lot of publicity now for it, obviously to pre-order. We're excited about it. It'll be around spring training again, around when baseball kicks off,
Hmm.
and then we'll probably do something else around football season. So we're trying to get what we can out there now. We appreciate everybody out there who's been helping on that, and
Oh, you're building a launch team. Have you got it? Are you all set there?
yeah, we've got a good one assembled, some good friends, some good readers, some good authors. So that's we try to do the same thing. So this is only the second one I've done because I didn't want to. You don't. It's always the same people being asked. So I did one for my first book, but I haven't done one since. So put a little launch team together now, and it's not a lot to it. I'll just send them things to repost, and
Yeah.
hopefully, and I'll send most of them copies of the books to promote things like
Right.
that. So
Yeah.
it's just fun.
Have you been on launch teams?
Oh yeah. I've been on a few, and I've had and my first one again was fun. A lot of work, a lot of things I learned what to do, what not to do, what sounds fun, what actually works. So we're going to get into that part a little bit later, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. But again, I kind of hate, but I'm apprehensive to ask people because it's typically the same ones.
Hmm.
I don't want them to think, oh no, another launch team.
Yeah.
So that's why I haven't done many of them, and
Mm.
I'm doing a little different, not bugging as much, but send them some things to repost and some things like that. And towards the launch day, we get a little bit more excited. So we're starting to line up some interviews now and some things like that. So
Well, I guess with launch teams and everything in life, about 80% of the production comes from 20% of the
yeah,
people, and it's hard to get people excited, about somebody else's book. It's easy to be excited about your own. It's hard to understand why everybody isn't. It's crazy about it.
yeah, exactly. So that's why and I understand that, and so I'm very cognizant of that when I ask people. So um, that's why I try to share folks' posts as well.
Hmm.
So I mean, I try to get to them when I see them. Um, if I see Doug's post out there, or JD's post, or somebody, I try to share it a lot. And I mean, you don't do it for the reason they will, but you kind of,
Yeah,
who knows? They
yeah.
might.
Now, I was looking on Facebook and I saw, how they do those memory things, and it was
Yeah.
Dugout Devotions. Is Dugout Devotions 1 year old now or something?
No, it's
Or
like
two, three? What?
2 years, 2 years. I don't remember. I think it's 2 years old. I believe. I think it's 2.5 years old.
That was
So
that was your first, wasn't it?
that was not my first book. That was first in the series. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah. So yeah, it's been out for. I have it right here. Actually, when was that thing launched? Was it 17? 2009? That can't be right. 2019. Yeah, I guess it was. So 3 years ago.
Gosh, that
Yeah.
seems like yesterday. But that's a function of getting older. Sports
Yes.
charts. Who are some of the interviews? Who are some of the people featured?
Oh,
Not, now
a
don't
lot
just
of
name the big names. Tell us about somebody we may not know about.
Tim Tebow's in it. You may not know him.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, never heard of him. He's in it twice. Actually, I have each athlete in one time except Tebow because he did both
He did both
baseball and
sports, yeah.
football. So we did a little bit of that. We got Curtis Granderson, interview with him, with Curtis. He was an awesome interview. Football, we have guys like Roethlisberger and Andy Dalton and Ben Watson, Kirk Cousins, Kurt Warner, some big names like that. So, yeah.
Speaking of Roethlisberger, is he done now?
I would guess he'll retire. It's what everybody's been saying, and I would envision that. I mean, they had a difficult season. He banged up and beat up quite a bit, and it would surprise me if we saw him playing next year. At least in Pittsburgh. I mean, he may play. I don't know if he'll be in Pittsburgh or not. But I would really, if I was a betting man, I'd say he's probably going to hang it up.
Well,
and go out on top.
He could go into coaching because I understand there's a few openings.
Yeah, there's a few. I don't know. I think he wants to spend time at home. He's got a couple. He got some young kids he wants to help raise. So, but I don't know. He's never asked me what he should do, and probably not going to give him any advice. So, but I was fortunate enough to interview him twice and a couple times, and he's in the book. So, I was able to talk to him a couple times about it, and so kind of the conversation I had with him. Was not as depicted in the book as, for a young kid to read because it was kind of a personal situation. So we try to address that in a delicate way.
Mm-hmm. I think you have the skills to do that. You're getting a lot of work done for the newspaper there. Has that been a revitalized interest of yours since you kind of reorganized?
Always. I would love to do that. Get back into that full time, eventually. But again, a lot of the guys that we go to the games with, a lot of them don't do it full time. They're doing it as a side gig as well. So it's pretty common interest. I mean, I'll be going down to Tennessee to the game. Got my passes today, so that'll be a fun time. I mean, John and I are going to hook up. John Wong, we're going to. He lives in Lexington, so I'll be going right by Lexington, and probably pick him up. We'll go to the game together.
Now, I'm so envious of you. You were rubbing elbows with Drew Brees. Was that just a photo op, or did you get to talk to him a little bit?
We chatted. I mean, these guys are typically up there, and we run into a lot of them. I've run into obviously like Aikman and Munoz and some of the more well-known names. Brees obviously calls for NBC, and then you had Tony Romo was with. He was calling the game the other night in Cincinnati, so we got to spend a little bit of time with him. I mean, we don't spend a half hour together, but we'll walk up and chat for a few minutes, and they always take time to talk to you, and they're always because it's a pretty safe environment up there,
right?
It's all working media up there, and they're just out chit chatting. So he was walking by, and we just happened to talk to him for a second, and they always ask where you're from, what do you do, blah blah blah, and they make conversation. They just don't,
Why don't you ask them where are you from, Drew Brees?
Yeah,
New Orleans. I didn't know.
Yeah. So, he went to. He's a Big Ten kind of guy. He's a Big Ten football player.
Really?
So he went to Purdue. So yeah. So set a lot of good records up in the Big Ten. So he was nice to talk to, courteous. Again, if you honor and respect their time, and just talk to him for a couple of minutes, and they're Joe Buck is a really nice guy. He'll sit and talk to you for 10, 15 minutes and very courteous. And Aikman's always polite to you. Again, if you don't bother them, they'll chit chat for you a while. But there's no way you never act like a fan. You never do that kind of stuff. You just chit chat with them, and then hey, you make a picture. Sure, yeah, I'd love to. And they don't care. They like it because one day nobody's going to know who they are.
They can always pawn off their Super Bowl ring, at the pawn shop.
I guess. So I've never been to Tennessee. Never been to Nissan Stadium. Looking forward to going to that Saturday. We'll be getting down there kind of early. And Nashville's a nice city, so I enjoy Nashville. And it's not too far a drive for me. It's about 5.5 hour drive.
Dale, I'm thinking back. Not long ago, you were just pumped up that you were going to get to go to the Tokyo Olympics. and
Yeah.
and COVID just put a kibosh on that. France
Yeah.
Olympics. What is there anything new? Is there any update?
As far as the 2024,
Right.
so far we're on. It's still on schedule. We haven't had a conversation with Dr. Mings lately, but the last communication we had was they're planning to go full force, and so we're on. Right now, we're set to go.
Okay.
Um,
You have
I
your
talked my wife
passport?
into going.
The
Yeah, we've got
government.
those updated. Yeah,
Okay.
so we have them.
Yeah, I
So
let mine expire. And they're not hard to get, but it's a good thing to have because if an opportunity comes along, if you don't have a
yeah,
passport, well, you're not going.
yeah. Trying to talk my wife into going to Paris for 3 weeks. We'll see what happens with that. That's not, it's a couple of years off, so we've got a long way to go with
Plenty of
that.
time.
But right now we're on task to go
So,
to it. I
and
haven't
what
heard
what
anything.
was the mission again? What was your role there?
I don't know specifically. I was told that my title, of course, titles don't mean anything, but I was told I'm the media director for Lay Witnesses for Christ International, who goes to the Olympics every year, every 4 years, as a mission team. And my job, as I know it, my responsibility won't be a job. My responsibility, because it'll be all volunteer, will be to talk to players, interview their story, get their stories, get them out, arrange interviews, things like that. That's,
Now,
to my knowledge, is what I'll be doing.
every once in a while, I see those Facebook ads, for those fancy microphones that you've got. You've been in this business for a while. What are you using now, and what was one of the first things you used?
I use this and I use this
And what's that thing in your right hand?
tape recorder,
A tape
digital
recorder?
tape recorder, digital recorder. I always have a backup. My phone's my backup.
Yeah, I've seen this some pretty high tech gear, with fancy
Hmm.
mics that kind of crisscross to form a stereo. I won't go into the
Yeah,
technical. I'm fascinated with that. I can remember doing recordings, football, with like a Radio Shack push button, and it had a cassette. It was actually a
yeah.
miniature. Remember those little things?
I've got those. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't have the, but these, I mean, I won't be doing it live. So I don't, not to my knowledge, they won't be live because be in Paris. But I'll just use a little tape recorder and go back and play it back and have a backup in case I blow it. So in case the batteries go dead.
Yeah.
So, and they won't be long interviews. So 2 or 3 minutes, not that far, so that
Yeah.
long. So
It'd be good to have a
yeah,
videographer too, and that way you get.
yeah, we'll see what happens. So we'll get the PJNet jet and fly over there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm working on that. Okay. We're doing it. All
Yeah, hey,
right.
you're welcome to go.
Yeah. Well, Dell, I'm glad that things are still looking optimistic. And I know it seems a long way off, but it seems like a
Well,
very
really.
good fit. When you look at the books and your ministry, it's a perfect fit for
Yeah,
what you're doing.
I mean the idea is obviously we've talked to a couple of publishers too about a book with that. So hopefully that'll happen. That's not the reason, but it'd
Right.
be something nice to come out of that. And we've got a couple of good titles are already in the making, and give me something else to do. So we're getting ready to launch Sports
And you
Shorts. We're
need
getting ready,
something else to do,
you
because
know, yeah,
yeah,
we're getting ready to launch. We're getting ready to finish up. I finished up my Florida book, and we're getting ready to get the Florida statement done. And hopefully those will be out for the fall-ish time frame, football season. And then we've got a couple of shows coming up. This
Mhm.
Christian Product Expo in Charlotte, and then NRB in Nashville in March. So yeah, we're getting excited about some things coming up. I was talking to Michelle today about some things we got planned. So we'll be doing a book signing together down in Charlotte, and be signing sports shorts as well. So
Mhm.
excited about it.
Okay. All right. Well, Dale, next time we get together, we'll be. Let's see. If I look at my, well, actually, it's March,
Hmm.
so we've got. Yeah, I'm thinking next month. It's not
No,
February yet, but
right, it'll be February,
yeah.
right? Not March.
So we're out, but we look forward to getting an update from you, Dale. You've been so good to
Yeah.
us over the years, and not only do we appreciate you, we appreciate your ministry and your recent work reaching out to our young, very impressionable minds, Dale. And thank God that you're doing this. And we just look forward to your ministry and how it's impacting lives. Well,
No.
you never know what's going to
Well,
happen to you.
everybody out there who plays plays a part in it when they share things or when they promote other books and promote other authors and when they write as well. So we're all in this together.
All right. Well, Dale, I appreciate you spending some time with us tonight. Go turn the heater on, get you a hot cup of coffee, and we'll see you first Wednesday in February, as the case may be. And it's always
Maybe
a pleasure.
we'll be buying tickets to go to the Super Bowl by then. Who knows?
Good luck on
You
that.
never know.
Good
You never
luck.
know.
You never know.
You never know.
All right, Dale. Appreciate it, brother.
Good
Well,
day.
folks, I hope you will stick around a minute because I wanted to share some things with you how God is moving. You've heard me make vague references to we're tooling up. Basically, in collaborating with some of our PJNet family, we want to take the PJNet on the road. We got started in this in its present form by going to writers' conferences and things like that. But those would be limited to the writers' conferences that happen, and they're happening in fewer with COVID. And maybe they're coming back, maybe they're not in the old form that they used to. But certainly COVID has had an impact. So we want to take PJNet on the road. Now, to do that, we're going to have to make some improvements. And I've been spending night after night engineering ideas on how to do a professional presentation, in a venue where we have our own sound, our own video, our own speakers, our own, all that stuff. And of course, when you start looking at it, the sticker shock, takes over. And I'm saying, Lord, are you sure this is what you want? Because I'm totaling this up and it's coming up more money than we have or even have access to. But I couldn't get it off my mind. And I began to say, well, before we can get that, we got to get this. And it's just really complicated. But folks, here's what I did. You've heard me say, and it's a principle that I espouse, is it doesn't matter what you can't do with what you don't have. What matters is what you're going to do with what you have. And I began to preach those words to myself. And, if you're going to talk it, you got to walk it. And I just kept going forward and saying, well, how can we incrementally phase this in? How can we do something that if we get something now, it won't just sit around for years waiting on us to get the rest of it? How can we do it? Well, last week I just said, Lord, I just don't have the faith that I should have. Lord, if you want me to do this, I just need to do it and let you worry about how we're going to, pay for it. So I ordered some stuff. Okay, can I show you? This is unboxing time. I haven't even opened the package, but this is one of 3 packages that came in today, and I just wanted to share it with you all because you're such an important. You are the lifeblood of what we do. It's from Vistaprint, and we have these first-time guests. These are our envelopes, okay, but these would be, and I guess I'm going to have to find a way to unpackage them. I should have, where's my knife when I need it? So I thought our first time guests, I'm starting to get their postal address. And I thought it would just be a nice thing since none of us ever get any snail mail, like post office mail. So we had these printed and I've never seen them. I hope they were printed correctly. That must be, how about that? Isn't that something? Don't you want one of those? Don't you really want one of those? Let's hope that's just the little end packaging. Ah, it is. So here is the actual product that we ordered. It's a thank you card that says PJNet, and of course you can you fold it like that. And what we're going to do is starting tonight, when we have a first-time guest, and we just ordered a small quantity. I need to get these in larger quantities. It's a better deal, but I just wanted to see, and it's got a custom envelope, that goes with it with our return address. That no big deal. Or return envelope. It's the envelope you poke it in to mail it. But that's exciting. But let me tell you something. A lot of this gear, you've all seen computer rooms, I think, with those tall racks, where the computer stuff mounts in the rack with screws, and so some of the equipment that we're looking at, it can be rack mounted. A lot of it is, and we can't afford the equipment, but we can afford the rack. I kid you not, I ordered a rack. It's sitting right over there in a box. I hadn't taken it out of the box. And I ordered another bracket thing. I'd love to show it to you, but I have no way to get up and go. Well, I could go over there and get it, but it's a goalpost type stand that's just full of holes that you can mount cameras to, and lights and microphones and stuff. But I'm engineering this whole design, and I just ordered that stuff, and it was hundreds of dollars. But I don't have any equipment to mount on that stuff. But I figured if you're going to pray for rain, maybe it would be the right thing to do to be holding an umbrella over your head. Well, I assure you folks that you cannot make this stuff up. Okay? Out of the clear blue, we had a benefactor just covered it. They of course didn't know. But I was blown away. I was just totally blown away because every penny that I spent in faith came back the same day the equipment arrived. And I just get chill bumps thinking about that. And I had some interesting conversations, sharing this vision with others, because without some folks, I just have faith that we're going to do this, and we're going to do this year. Don't know how that's going to happen, to be honest. But I want to take PJNet to where you are. So many of you are in the Carolinas. And I want to bring something of value. We'll have some fellowship. We'll have some fun. We'll have some keynote speaker. We'll probably start at like 11. So that if you have to get up early and drive there, you can drive there and be at 11. And we'll end around 6. So that you can go home and put your head in your own bed that night without the expense of hotel rooms and things like that. And it of course I'd like to have lots of people, but folks, if we can just get 12 or 20 together, and let's get together and build teamwork and recruit new people to come into the team and into our family. I'm just convinced that God is going to bless this and use this to accomplish things in His kingdom. Each of us has talents and gifts, but we need to put those together and get pulling in the same direction, because the total is greater than the sum of the parts, as they say. But I'm just blown away, and I wanted to brag on God, and I wanted to brag on you all, because you have been so prayerful, and so just so sacrificial in offering yourselves and the things that you have and the things God has blessed you with. And we just put those in the salad and kind of toss it and mix it up, and it turns out to be kind of pretty. So thank you all so much, and I hope to just bring you more and more and more good news. It'll be February 4th before I start building some of the stuff, just the infrastructure, the superstructure, the brackets. You got to mount all this stuff, and it uses little clamps to mount, and we have some of those that were sent to us for the event that we didn't have, and I'll be able to repurpose those and use them going forward, and I'm just grateful. So thank you all so much. I love you, and I just love that you share the vision that God has given us to make a place where everyday Christians can simply share their walk with Christ. And that sounds simple, but the execution's kind of complicated. As always, we need to challenge ourselves. to go further in faith. Not wait till all the lights are green before we depart, but just go to that next light and it'll turn green eventually. Okay. So my challenge is to ask ourselves these two questions and answer ourselves candidly and honestly. What is the boldest thing that you've ever done for Jesus Christ? And when was it? And let's work together so that none of us will ever be satisfied with either answer.